But Dave, let's jump into our last topic. We're taking a look at Disney remakes. And the question that we're going to try to answer here in this last segment is, are Disney live-action remakes realistically a good or bad thing? Because I kind of was thinking in my head, you look at the last couple that have come out, but I'm going to go through all of them. Mm-hmm. The Lion King, which I will say on the podcast, I'm sorry, Johnny, I don't know how he gave it a 5. I told him to his face, I don't know how he gave it a 5.
He wouldn't have done it.
I gave it a 3.5, I think. A 3 or 3.5.
Yeah.
So The Lion King, Rotten Tomatoes, I'm just going to go through all of them. Audiences, 88%. The tomato meter, 53 for The Lion King. Mm-hmm. Aladdin that came out this year, 94% for the audience. The tomato meter, a 56%. Dumbo, audiences hated it, 51%. The tomato meter was not that far off at 46. Then the other two, Beauty and the Beast, actually both liked it. 80 from the audience, 71 from the critics. Mm-hmm. And then the other one, the first one that kind of kicked all this off, Maleficent, with Angelina Jolie, 2014, 70% audience score, 56% critic score. And there's a couple that Disney is making, but the first thing, before we get into the ones they are making, is I just want to ask you, are these remakes, after the ones that we have had, are they a good thing for Disney to do? Well, obviously they're going to make money because of nostalgia, but as a product, is it good or bad for Disney to keep pumping out these remakes after the ones that we've already seen?
I think they can't just indiscriminately throw out, different classic movies, because it doesn't work for everything. That's the thing is, just because you had a fantastic masterpiece of a movie animated back in the day doesn't mean it needs to be remade as a live action or a completely updated CGI version of it. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't work for everything, and that's the big takeaway for Lion King from me. Like, I think Aladdin, I really enjoyed it. It's not the same as the first movie. They try to add in a little bit more. They try to deepen some of the plots or add in additional plots. The characters, I feel like the live actors obviously added in something different, because you can't be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Will Smith obviously did his own thing, and I appreciated it, and it was fun.
But also, like I said in our Lion King review, the Lion King actually explains why they didn't have the genie blue the whole time. Because by having Will Smith be Will Smith and be himself, you can show that emotion rather than, wow, why am I looking at Dr. Manhattan on the screen?
It's true. It's true. So I think that there are several movies they could bring back and do again. I think you have to just draw the line, though, because several of the ones that, potentially coming in the future don't really line up with, like, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like they've just hit money grab moment, because it's like we can take risks on new IPs.
Man, these 90s kids will spend money on this.
Or nostalgia is sort of the biggest, hottest running thing right now, and we can cash in on that, because all those 90 kids, they got kids now. And guess what they want? They want to show them all of their favorite movies from childhood. We can give them that all over again. Which,
the thing I just thought about in my head, so the ones that Johnny and I started reviewing movies in 2017, and I will say the little disclaimer is, sometimes I look at my 2017 rankings and I go, wow, I have, like, the development of me as I reviewed movies is vastly different. Like, do you want to know how many 5s I gave out in 2017?
5?
9 5s.
Wow, that's a lot. You're a generous creator.
Here they are. So you guys at home, and Dave can either agree or disagree.
I'll chime in.
So Logan, I had at a 5.
It was a pretty good movie.
Guardians 2, I had as a 5.
That was a pretty good movie. I don't know, 5.
Wonder Woman, I had as a 5.
That was a groundbreaker.
Spider-Man Homecoming, I had as a 5.
That's too high.
Kingsman: The Golden Circle,
that's too high.
I had as a 5. Thor Ragnarok, I had as a 5.
That was a groundbreaker again.
Beauty and the Beast, I had as a 5.
It's too damn high.
And then American Made, the Tom Cruise movie with the smuggling cocaine, were my 5s.
I would not have given that a 5.
With Star Wars being a 4.5.
Yep.
That was a Force Awakens, I think.
Yeah.
Was 2017, 4.5. But my point being, Beauty and the Beast, 5. I really liked it.
Yep.
2018, I don't think we saw a Disney remake, but however, I went from 9 5s to 5 5s.
That's called being a critic. Yeah. Over time, you will like, figure out what works for you and what doesn't.
Super Troopers 2, that one on its own, I was like, you know what? Critically, does it deserve a 5? No. But I was fucking laughing the whole way.
It's impossible not to.
And from like a me and what I love, fucking give
it scratched that itch.
Infinity War, Deadpool 2. Death Wish was kind of like, should I have given it a 5 or not? I don't know.
Probably not.
But then this year, the Disney movies that we have seen, Aladdin I gave a 4.5, Lion King a 3.5, Dumbo I gave a 2, and this year I've only given Shazam and Endgame are my only 2 5s. So from 9 to 5 to now 2 this year, and that's, to me, it's like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast are the only 2 that I really, really, really liked, to where, I mean, the ones coming up, which we'll get into those, I don't think are going to have the same problem as The Lion King. Because The Lion King was all, like you said, it's hard to like when you do it in an animated style, hey, we can have the lions cry. We have eyebrows that can inflect emotion. Yeah. Exactly. We can actually have the lions do humanistic things that we can't do when it's super realistic, like they had for the remake. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to do in this is we're going to go through some of the ones that Disney has in development and kind of give our thoughts of, is it going to be a good remake? Is it not going to be a good remake? And the first one you got to start with, because we have a trailer for it, is Mulan. The trailer dropped while we were in Vegas. We watched it in our hotel room before we went to Summer League games. In your mind, this Mulan remake, is it going to be a good idea or a bad idea? Because we're still on the assumption that it's not going to have any of the songs.
It's not a musical.
And it's not going to have Mushu.
I would call it reimagining.
Mm-hmm. I hate that word so much.
That's what it is, because it's not the same thing. Like, from what we saw in the trailer, does it resemble the original Mulan series or show?
Yes. To me, it looks like Mulan without the music.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And are you interested in a more action-heavy Mulan? Because I think that seems to be what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And I understand why, because Mulan itself as a movie was entertaining. The pacing, though, was really helped out by the musicals. Yeah. And that really pushed forward, the montages, the training. Like, there was so many scenes where it was like, all right, this is really carrying this movie. And it was a good movie.
Plus, I rewatched it recently.
Yeah.
That, it cooks. Like, it just goes along. Like, boom,
exactly.
boom, boom,
that's
boom,
what I'm saying.
Boom, boom. There's no downtime in that Mulan movie.
So because they're removing the musical scenes from that, they have to do something to add in, the hook and draw your excitement. And I think they're going more action heavy, and which is fine. I think it's not the same thing, but I think it's okay to do different because, we joked around with The Lion King was a shot for shot remake minus the Nazi version of the hyena march.
Be prepared.
Which is fine. No one's going to argue over that like too much. But there was no originality taken. No twists, no turns. Aladdin had a little bit. They tried to blow out some story arcs. They added in a little bit extra for Princess Jasmine, which I appreciated because that seemed like something that she didn't get in the original.
Whereas Beauty and the Beast added in a new song that didn't take away from the story.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. So if we're looking to just add value because you can't recreate or you don't want to recreate, I think removing the music, adding in action scenes, I'm okay with that trade-off. They're going to be different products at the end of the day for different audiences, though.
Yeah, for me, the big, the reason why, and it's the music to me. Yeah. Like, the Mushu thing is, we are so connected to Eddie Murphy's Mushu being that comic relief of that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, it's the songs, because when I think of these, if you're remaking these Disney movies, it would be like, for example, Cats, which is coming out later this year.
Bizarre.
Hey, I want to do a movie on the Broadway play Cats, but we're not going to have any songs. We're just going to do Cats. Like,
the fact that Hamilton isn't a movie yet, it shocks me.
It hugely shocks me that like it's not in production for anything. But like, that's what I've always
seen. As far as musicals go, I'm sorry. Like, that Cats is not one that I would think of, let's take this to the big screen.
I mean, There's people that love Cats.
It was one of the most wildly successful musicals of all time. It's beloved. I just don't know.
It's a niche market.
Yeah, bringing that to the main to the big screen, really, I don't know how it's going to translate. The things we've seen from it look creepy.
Also, you want to know the second problem with Cats?
Yeah.
Guess what comes out the same weekend as it?
What's that?
Episode 9.
Well, that's completely different audiences.
You're
not getting a lot of crossover fans from Star Wars to Cats.
You have a few. You've got those nerds that like Broadway.
No, you're not.
I would beg to differ. You get some of. I'm not saying all, but there is a subsection like that.
Guys in the
Star
comments
Wars
down below,
fans.
tell me how many Star Wars nerds, like opening weekend Star Wars nerds, are also huge Broadway fans.
Hey, nerds can hit numerous
3 of them?
things. I'm not saying it's a huge subsection, but there's probably a little subsection. It's small, it's tiny.
We're talking
but
very
it's there.
far apart. But
I look at that and I go, I would not want to, I would want to try to maximize my profits. But that's a different story. I've always seen, though, these Disney, the ones from our childhood, the 90s, the 2000s, they were like kind of modern day musicals for us.
Yeah.
And if you're taking that music out, you're basically, you can say reimagining, but you're taking out a key part of what made it so special. Like, I had to tweet out while I was watching it. It was July 21st that I watched Mulan on Netflix. And I said, watching Mulan, listening to the song Reflection made me think about how I still can't believe the live action remake is going to have no songs in it. Just because, like, that one's so early.
Yeah.
It connects you to the Mulan character right out the bat.
It does. It does a good job. So, what's next on their list?
The next one on their list is Lady and the Tramp.
That's just stupid.
Which
that's going to go wrong the same way that Lion King is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's animals, and live animals is not.
Do they do the Dumbo thing, though? The stupid Dumbo thing of like, hey, we've got the dogs, but we're going to come up with a different story that integrates more human characters so we don't have to rely on the dogs as much. Which, I look at that and I go, that it's not Lady and the Tramp.
Right. No, I love Lady and the Tramp. I grew up on it, as we both did for a lot of these. Yeah. But, like, no, that's one that's not going to do well in theaters, if I'd take a guess, because it's the same problem. Same exact problem of emotions. How do you convey emotions from an animal that you can't over-animate because it just looks stupid then? Mm-hmm. So the songs in that, fantastic again, but I'm going to pass on that.
I want to know in a live remake, how are you gonna make the scene of them with the spaghetti noodle?
Oh, it's going to premiere on Disney Plus though.
Oh, okay, so it's not going to be a
big screen.
Big screen, but I mean, still a Disney Plus movie. How is that going to work in general with it being live action? I'm gonna leave. So the article has some that says deserve a remake.
Let's pass that up for later.
Third category.
Yep.
The next one in development, Cruella, which is a Cruella de Vil. And here's the thing I want to say with this is, to me, this falls under the same vein as the Maleficent movies. Yeah. Because, like, I was talking to Johnny because I had the Maleficent trailer ahead of Lion King, and I'm like, what does it say for your Disney princess? You've got Aurora, which there are some people out there that Aurora is their favorite Disney princess. Yep. What does it say for your Disney princess that, hey, we're going to tell her story, but we can't lean on her. We got to lean on the villain. We got to lean on Maleficent to get this point across. I feel like this Cruella wouldn't be the exact same as that because the dogs are the main character.
But are they?
But, like, yet again, are you going to do, because we've already had in our life a live remake of 101 Dalmatians. Yep. I think we've already had a Cruella movie, if I'm not mistaken, unless I'm just thinking of 101 Dalmatians.
Or the sequel.
Or the sequel of how, like, impactful she was into that. And I see Emma Stone's picture.
Emma Stone was cast in 2016, but joined the project last May as an undisclosed antagonist.
So we've got Emma Stone and Emma Thompson. Yep. What are your thoughts about Cruella? Would it be any good? Because to me, it'd be like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be excited for a Cruella
Not really my jam.
movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably pass on this one again. It's not. I mean, maybe we'll get a different side of her with more backstory and emotion. That'll make her kind of a little more relatable, but at the same time, like you'll understand and have a different hatred for. There's a chance they can build it out that way, but I just don't know. It's not for me. I'm just going with it's not for me, and that's where I'd like to leave that at.
I mean, I just look at it like even the Melissa movies. I know Johnny and I are probably going to go see it.
Yep.
Because it's kind of like, we're doing the podcast. We, like, depending on what else is coming out, like, but that's one coming in where I'm like, all right.
Is it going to be like Wicked, where you get the different take on it?
Wicked is really good, though.
Wicked's fantastic. That's my
really
point.
Good, though.
So, like, are we going to get something like that where it just surprises us and it's like the other side of the storyline is actually more interesting than anyone ever thought?
And I mean, it's not impossible. It's just it doesn't get my jimmies going.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying.
That's fair.
How about this? This is one that touches me.
Yep.
Because I love this classic one of Sword in the Stone, where I'm like, there's a part of it that's like, okay, this could be really good. Maybe give me some, like, not gritty, but like that old medieval style. But then I think of the parts of the parts that would be hard to tackle in Sword in the Stone is the part where Merlin turns them into fish.
Yep.
And then when Merlin turns them into squirrels. How are you going to do that? And how are you going to make, like, how is that going to come across?
I'm sorry. There's been so many, like, King Arthur Sword in the Stone rip-off movies.
The Kid in the Sword.
The Kid in the Sword. Like, there's been so many bad ones of those. I just don't want it.
You don't want another King Arthur story?
I don't. I love King Arthur. I love medieval shit. But I've seen so many bad ones. And we just recently, what was the one that came out this year?
Wasn't that the Kid in the...
Was it?
That was the Fox one with the Kid in the Sword or the Kid in the Shield or something like that.
I don't know. Some kid gets a sword and then he's called upon to be like the leader in the other world.
Sword.
Kid in the Sword. Is that the title of the movie?
Yeah, because they had
the kid who would be king.
That's it.
I was like, the Kid in the Sword is so dumb.
It was a dumb movie in general, Dave. I wasn't going to go see it.
The kid who would be king. That's what I'm saying. Like that was Sword in the Stone-esque.
Merlin was the only one to where I was like, you know what, I'd see this for him. But the thing I do want to throw out with Sword in the Stone is apparently it's going to be another one to drop exclusively on Disney Plus.
They're trying to pimp out those, IPs. I get it.
Which I mean, it's smart. There's some of these where it's like, do we have to make them silver screen productions? No.
Yep.
If they're not on the scale of like popularity of The Lion King, we can throw it to Disney Plus. But then the last one is the one that everyone and their mother has an opinion about, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Is it going to be any good?
I think it will. I think that one will actually be pretty good. As long as they're going to stick to like having the music in it and having the CGI version of the undersea casting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what we saw out of being able to do underwater stuff in Aquaman gives me hope for like any movie that tries to do something like that. So that's why I'm thinking like, look, if Aquaman made underwater look good, then Little Mermaid can be fantastic.
Yeah. And the one that I forgot that it mentions in here is Mary Poppins.
Did have one already.
Those all had remakes. And I mean...
OG Mary Poppins was fantastic.
The thing with this one is I like the cast that they're already putting together, minus like a Melissa McCarthy.
She never quite sits on the right, like... Yeah, no, I don't like her.
It's like, so Johnny and I have had this discussion. There's a whole segment. You can check it out. Yep. I'll put the link up top above us because I believe that one was when we were still on the other MVP channel.
Sure.
So it was between Melissa McCarthy and Lizzo. And Lizzo is an actual, like, musical artist who on Twitter, I guess years ago, sang dressed up as Ursula, sang Poor Unfortunate Souls. And is like, I'm perfect for this role.
Yeah.
And then there's Melissa McCarthy, who I guess can sing, but me personally, I'm just not super excited about her.
She's a box office name. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Like,
I don't like her. I don't like her acting. She's been typecast into a specific role, and I hate how it's portrayed.
Tammy is her role. Yeah. The one where she's like super annoying and
that's just her. And that's the problem. Is I don't like that role in any movie. I mean, it worked for her once, and then it's just been like, just slap that over and over the head until you hate her, and that's where I'm at.
Her and Rebel Wilson, I would say, are in the same boat.
Absolutely.
Where it's like most of the people that hate Rebel Wilson. Do you hate Rebel Wilson, or do you hate the type of character that she constantly plays in her movies?
Yep.
exactly like you said. It would be just slapping that, hey, we need that name to pull them in.
That's exactly what it is.
Because we didn't pick that with Ariel.
Yep.
Like, that's like...
They didn't go for the childhood, like the uber famous kid. They went for someone who actually has some notoriety, but it's not like that box office straw name where she absolutely does have it.
What about some that we'll keep this simple.
Yeah.
Deserves a remake. Yes, no, maybe a little snippet here.
Yep.
I'm going to hit you with the heavy hitter first.
Sure.
Should we get a Hercules remake? Because that, to me, I just want to be like, give it to me.
Absolutely.
As long as James Woods comes back. Like, this is a Mufasa stipulation.
Yeah.
If James Woods comes back as Hades, I'm all in.
100%.
The only sad thing is, and I thought about this last night watching YouTube videos, we can't get Rip Thorne as Zeus again.
Yeah.
That's the only sad part. But if James Wood comes back, fucking sign me up.
I think it absolutely has potential to go off really well.
Because like that's one where it's like...
Hercules has some wackiness to it. It doesn't take itself seriously.
I'm sorry. 2 stipulations.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito has got to come back as Phil.
He actually could, though.
He could fit Phil, though.
He absolutely could. Yeah, no. And that's the thing. Like, Hercules, that's what makes it different from everything else in this that we've talked about. Like, well, that wouldn't work because real life. Like, Hercules doesn't take itself seriously. It's a comedy. It's got great music. It's got an amazing soundtrack. Like, yes, absolutely make that.
Number 2.
Yep.
Pocahontas.
Oh, my God, absolutely. I love... Ricky, I don't know if you know.
Music.
Don't make the movie ever. I don't know how much you know that I love Pocahontas. But
I don't know.
It's emotionally one of my favorite movies. Like, it covers the wide spectrum of emotions.
One of the best Sega games, too.
I feel it so much every time I watched it. Visually beautiful. The soundtrack is fantastic. Like, yes. Absolutely, yes. That's a great... And the whole thing is, like, it's a great story. Has it aged well? Is there still a moral to the point? Absolutely. So, like, yeah, you could redo that.
The thing I love about it, too, is... Because you might think to yourself, well, what about, like, the raccoon or the hummingbird? Like, well, think of exactly how they did Abu in Aladdin. That's how you would do those two. So
100%.
Like, they've already done it before. They could do it again. The next 2 of the next 3, I'm a little about just because I don't know the execution of it.
Okay.
The first one I'm about is Treasure Planet. Not that I hate Treasure Planet.
Yep.
I just don't want it to be an over CGI mess. That's what I feel like it would end up being.
It absolutely would be. I enjoyed the movie a little bit. I don't think I was the biggest fan of it, but I thought it was a decent movie. But yeah, you need a lot of CGI for
I look at all the characters and I'm like, this would just be an over CGI'd mess.
Probably.
The other one I'm just going to put in that category is Atlantis. Johnny, I believe this is the one that Johnny last week while we were off the air was like, oh my God, give me an Atlantis remake.
I think that would be similar. It would be a lot of CGI.
To Aquaman.
It would be a lot of CGI. I think it's got a good story though. Another one, I don't know if it's on. I didn't see it on this list. Go ahead. Titan AE.
Ooh.
I really liked that movie as a kid.
That one wasn't Matt Damon the lead in that one?
Was he?
I think he was the lead voice.
There's a lot of great voice actors in there, and I think the movie's got room for improvement as far as the story arc.
So you're saying just change the story a little bit?
I think you can update the storyline to better fit, and I think a space...
Yeah, Matt Damon was Cole Tucker.
Matt Damon.
Nathan Lane was in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of great voice actors. You're going to need a lot of CGI, but a space one, it's something we haven't seen too much. That's a movie that can be updated and added a lot of value, and they can add a lot of value to it. But yeah, I would love to see that come back.
Is that a Disney property?
Let's see.
Disney Titan AE Wiki. I don't know if that's actually a Disney property.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, well, now it is because it's a 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
So now now that they got Fox, they could totally do it. Okay. Because the time it came out, I thought it came out at the same time as like Treasure Planet.
It did.
And they were kind of like rivaling for the dollar bill, y'all. The other one that was on here, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yay or nay on Hunchback?
I say go for it.
Because I just say give me, like, if you give me a phenomenal version of Hellfire, the villain song in that one, like, I'm all for it. That's another one too of like the only question mark I have, which I think would be like depends on how realistic you go with them, are the gargoyles.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're going to make them, like, too stony, how are you going to get that emotion in the face of most of them? But
I think I'd be okay with it.
if they tackle it like the
I think
hyenas...
that's a small screen. I think that's a Disney Plus
That's
release.
a Disney Pluser?
Yeah.
Is there any others that you're like, you know what, it wasn't on here, but...
I'm gonna hit my Google button real quick.
Mulan 2.
No, not Mulan 2. You dirty, dirty man. You know what?
Because, like, Cinderella, like, Snow
They've already
White,
done
I
so
don't
much.
think, that, like, Lilo and Stitch?
No.
No,
That does
remake
not.
of Lilo.
No, please no.
Emperor's New
New
Groove.
Groove would go over really
Okay.
well. That one I'd be down for. Give me the llama.
The Aristocats I don't want, only because of the,
No real life Incredibles.
no. Robin Hood, Peter Pan.
We've already had live action Peter Pan.
Yeah, but was it good?
I mean, I enjoyed it.
The only one I could think of, and this is for the niche audience that likes it, is if you're going dark and gritty, maybe it's a Disney Pluser, would they ever redo the Black Cauldron, but with a better story?
That could be interesting.
Because, like, that's kind of a niche one of, like, hey, we're going to make this really dark and gritty Disney movie. Oh, shoot, this is not what our target audience really wants. Where it's like, it was really bad when it came out. Now there's a ton of people, nostalgia is king, and it's like, oh my God, it's an unacclaimed classic because of how nitty and gritty it is. Alice in Wonderland, they've already done Jungle Book. I wouldn't want to see a Fox and the Hound, but let us know what you guys think down below. Are there any Disney movies that no one's mentioned? It's like, yes, this should be a remake. Also, let us know what you think about the remakes. Good thing, bad thing. Should they keep doing them? Well, they are going to keep doing them, but
because they just keep printing money.
Not? Yep. Like, it's just, if we keep throwing money at it, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like they're going to change, but should they? Should they not do them? Should they continue to do them? Also, patreon.com/Moswell Podcast to support us. Make sure to rate and review the podcast on Apple iTunes and Apple Podcasts. And follow us on Twitter. Dave doesn't tweet, but it's at Dave_don't_tweet. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. Want to thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Johnny will be back next week. And as always, pointing to a camera that is already off. Have a good day, everybody.